They were never clones. It's worse than that. Today you hear everyone talking about celebrity clones, but the truth is, it's not cloning.
So they really want us to believe that 3 different meteors appeared in 3 different places within the last 6 or 7 days, and there's not nothing wrong with that?
Scientists have officially discovered that the opposite of a rogue wave exists, where the ocean can open up into a massive hole without any warning at all.
17-year-old Mike Manshall disappeared under mysterious circumstances after exploring the catacombs in Malta.
Let's don't let a good thing die.
They were never clones. It's worse than that. Today you hear everyone talking about celebrity clones, but the truth is, it's not cloning. It's something that sacred texts were already talking about 3,000 years ago, and it explains everything. Recently, we all saw it with Jim Carrey, who appeared completely different, but look closely. All your favorite artists suddenly change. Your favorite actors too, as if they have a different energy and a different look in their eyes, and that's why people claim they've been cloned. But in reality, cloning is just a way to hide what's really happening. In the Bible, the Canaanites practiced child sacrifice for Moloch, but the truth is, it wasn't just about killing. In Leviticus 18 and 21, they call it passing through the fire. They performed soul transfer rituals, harvested life force, and placed entities into other bodies. We know this technology never disappeared. It's just in the hands of people who use it in the shadows. When people talk about someone selling their soul to the industry, it's a kind of pact. The original person dies spiritually, and a prepared entity takes their place in the same body, but with a different pilot. And that's why they seem different. Like Selena Gomez, who was recently seen going from 5 feet 5 inches to 5 feet 10 inches. It explains sudden personality changes, memory loss, different mannerisms, and doing things that would once have been unthinkable without any remorse. Remember Ariana saying she went through memory wiping? They're not cloning celebrities' bodies. In reality, they're taking them over.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, this whole soul swapping theory might be one of the wildest ones I've heard on here in a hot minute. Reminds me of that movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
So they really want us to believe that 3 different meteors appeared in 3 different places within the last 6 or 7 days, and there's not nothing wrong with that? You had the meteor in Ohio, 17,000 pounds, moving at 45,000 miles an hour. You had the meteor in Houston, 1 ton, moving at 35,000 miles an hour. And then you have a meteor in California. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. This is California. I need you to look at that right there. Bright green. There's a woman in California that said she heard a rumble in the sky so loud that she had to go outside her house. And when she went outside her house, this woman said she seen a green light in the sky so bright, it's brighter than she ever seen in her whole entire life. And that was, so you have NASA confirming that these meteors are meteors. You had 3 oversized meteors that just fell into Earth, and NASA didn't know anything about it. But here's the thing, you have people saying that these meteors might be fallen angels, and these fallen angels might be coming to Earth because of what's happening on Earth right now. I'm gonna ask you, what do you think? It's gonna be people that say this is normal. This happens all the time. This ain't normal at all. This is not normal at all.
Big test they did where they bombed the moon and it rang like a bell for a few hours.
That's literally a fact. I think it was Apollo 11 was viewing that it might be sort of, somewhat hollow.
Right.
And then Apollo 12 crashing the booster. They put seismometers there and they were like, it rang like a bell. And then you have Gordon McDonald, who is Eisenhower's chief space advisor, saying the only way in which the moon makes sense is if it's somewhat hollow and cavernous.
Right.
Which is trippy.
You wonder, is the moon brought here?
Yeah, was it geoengineered? Why is it tidal locked and we never see the dark side? You have Neil Armstrong's second expedition is in 1975 to this Teos cave, where this library of alien metallic artifacts, and there's this cave system at the edge of the Amazon in Ecuador. And Neil Armstrong brings a BBC film crew to go look into, this thing. And it's like, you have enough conviction that there could be a there that you want to look into this. Why would you ever do that if you didn't have some conviction maybe from prior experience?
Scientists have officially discovered that the opposite of a rogue wave exists, where the ocean can open up into a massive hole without any warning at all. So most people should already know what a rogue wave is. They're walls of water that rise out of nowhere in the open ocean, and they could be 80, 90, and even 100 feet tall. For centuries now, scientists thought that sailors were making them up. Then in 1995, one hit an oil platform in the North Sea, and it was measured for the first time. And they're real. But here's the part that nobody knows, because the exact opposite also exist. Scientists call them rogue holes, and instead of the ocean surging upward, it drops. A sudden massive depression will open up in the middle of the surface with two huge crests on either side, so your ship doesn't get hit by a wave, it just drops. Researchers were actually able to prove that they were real in a wave tank experiment, and there's even a recording of one from an oil platform in the North Sea. The ocean can rise into a wall or open into a pit, and they both happen without warning.
I'm a bit confused. Wouldn't that just be a whirlpool?
I'm sure many of you have heard the theory of UFOs or UAPs using clouds as cover, as cloaking mechanisms. Well, take a look at this footage. It was captured by a family on a commercial flight. They were thousands of feet up in the air. In mid-flight, as they were looking out the window, they saw something odd, something poking through the clouds. And if you look closely, it has a slight blink to it, almost as if it's attached to something bigger. But nothing should be up there, not that close to a commercial flight, not in the same path. So what is it?
The world's a mysterious place. Really hard for me to make out what that thing is, but whatever it is, it definitely shouldn't be up there. She's right.
I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base. The craft interfered with my telephone, did not have any sound, and the material it was made of appeared fluid or dynamic. I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying zero kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement.
Cool.
What do you make of that?
It's a mystery.
Okay.
It's a mystery. By the way, it would be helpful if we had other measurements of that object that could verify that it actually went to aircraft level, that it was actually the size that he says. It'd be nice to have more data surrounding that observation.
We do need more data. Let's look at these two people that we've circled here in red. Neil, those aren't people.
Yeah, those are aliens, for sure.
Bingo.
Yeah, totally.
Those
aliens.
are aliens in human suits.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree. They're spies in the hearings to try to make sure not enough information out.
I love how he's like, it's just a mystery. I need more data. And then 5 seconds later, oh yeah, for sure, that's aliens.
Well, if you feel like 2026 isn't going too well, this next story could offer an explanation. According to the world's most senior exorcists, there has been a rise in spiritual distress and Satanism. Representatives of the International Association of Exorcists met with Pope Leo at the Vatican this week, warning of a concerning growth in occultism and Satanism. They're pushing for at least one exorcist in every Catholic diocese around the world in order to combat what they say are the actions of the devil. The Pope has previously expressed his support for the delicate and necessary work they do.
What happened with this movie that made people go crazy?
So when The Exorcist came out, people started fainting, vomiting. One guy actually sued Warner Brothers because he fainted and cracked his jaw on the chair.
Did possessions increase?
Yeah, that is a fact. There really was a period in the 50s and 60s where a lot of American Christians would say, Satan and demon, these are metaphors. It's not real. It's The Exorcist. More and more people have been saying, no, it's quite real. It's quite literal.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god!
He's looking. That's a big bull, I think.
I can't fucking click it.
He's gonna find it this time. Oh my gosh! One light brisk of the tail and gone.
The world was warned this could happen, and now it actually is. The Philippines just became the first country in the entire world to declare a state of emergency because of fuel shortages linked to the war in the Middle East. This is because a staggering 98% of the fuel that the Philippines imports needs to pass through the Gulf region. And it's not just them. The whole world is now facing its biggest restrictions on fuel since COVID. Slovenia just became the first EU state to begin fuel rationing, so you can now only buy 50 liters max of fuel per day. Meanwhile, the IEA USA has now advised their 32 member countries, which include the likes of Australia, Germany, Japan, France, and the UK, to implement various fuel-saving measures, including even lowering their highway speeds by 10 kilometers an hour. China have temporarily banned fuel exports to protect their domestic supplies. Australia are facing what's described as a national crisis, where hundreds of their petrol stations are running dry from panic buying and shortages. South Korea have begun considering work-from-home policies and have also introduced price limits for fuel for the first time in decades, along with other countries like Croatia, Hungary, Brazil, and Thailand. Cuba are really struggling this week with numerous countrywide power cuts only made worse by the fuel shortages. Japan will begin their biggest ever release of oil from their strategic reserves this week.
I know electric car owners right now have to be like, hell yeah. It cost me $80 to fill up my car the other day. No lie, I almost cried.
Take a look at this image. 12 companies own 550 plus consumer brands. The game is rigged, and this image is just one piece of the puzzle. Your time, your health, and your money has been taken from you by the Standard & Poor Index, otherwise known as the stock market. That's what the S&P stands for, Standard & Poor. They stopped at GameStop, but those animal spirits didn't die. They were just hibernating, and now they're awake once again with SPX 6900. It's time to flip the stock market.
And don't forget that BlackRock owns all 12 of those companies. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to find out BlackRock attempted to purchase the entire planet.
And this is why I don't get on rides, bitches. It's just stuck in there, hanging there, looking fucking crazy. A Jet 2 holiday, hit it.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night, part 87. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "My brother took this about 15 years ago. Still don't know who or what was behind me." Follow for more creepy real photos.
Everyone knows Lincoln Park is the name of a military base in Canada where they experimented on and tortured children in the top secret government project known as MKUltra in the 1960s, allegedly. It's called RCAF Station Lincoln Park in Calgary, Alberta. Then you have Chester Bennington, lead singer of the band Lincoln Park, who himself suffered abuse as a child and was allegedly working on a documentary in 2017 called The Silent Children, exposing the elite's rings around the world, along with his good friend and lead singer of Audioslave, Chris Cornell, who was also heavily involved in the project and the investigations, and happened to tragically take his own life in May 2017. Exactly 2 months later, Chester takes his life in July 2017, while investigating his friend's death, both by apparent hemorrhage. Also involved in the Silent Children documentary was world-famous DJ Avicii, who took his own life less than a year later in April 2018, as well as celebrity chef and travel documentarian Anthony Bourdain, who, you guessed it, took his life just a few months later in June 2018. And if you search any of this up, it'll tell you it's just a conspiracy. The documentary never existed, and these tragic passings were all completely unrelated to each other. Well, isn't that something?
I've been a huge Linkin Park fan my whole life, but I thought Chester even said himself that they named the band after Linkin Park in Santa Monica.
They found Epstein's abandoned plane. Where? It's in like an airplane graveyard, pretty much. What the fuck? Yeah, so one of the things they found in the plane, similar to Diddy, was like oil? No, not even oil. Oh, what the fuck? It was baby powder. Baby powder? What? Like hella baby powder though, like a lot of baby powder. Man. And then there's like a satellite phone. Obviously there's not too much there, but what people are calling for is the FBI or the investigators to do like a DNA test there.
Oh, okay.
Because they haven't.
Imagine how much DNA is in that plane. What have they been doing in that plane?
Exactly, right?
What if ancient civilizations weren't building temples? What if they were building portals? All over the world, Iraq, Peru, Antarctica, even parts of Europe, there are massive ring-shaped structures and stone archways that don't match the technology of the time. They're literally perfect circles, massive stones, carvings that look like stars, planets, and symbols. Some researchers believe these aren't religious sites at all. They were portals, gateways, if you will. And some of the earliest texts on Earth, the Sumerian tablets, talk about beings called the Anunnaki who came from the sky and ruled the earth for thousands of years. And the theory goes like this. These stargates were used to travel between worlds, Not metaphorically, but physically. Different planets, different star systems, maybe different time. There are stories that many of these structures were buried, destroyed, or moved in the early 1900s and 1950s, right around the time governments started heavily studying Antarctica, ancient Mesopotamia, and Egypt. Almost like someone didn't want these locations being used again. And what if some of these ancient civilizations traveled and made it out of history?
What's interesting is you look at his face, you look at his body, King Tut. He didn't have the typical Egyptian look. He had a weird shaped body and his super elongated head, and all of his kids had these gigantic heads. Even his wife had a gigantic head. His mother was Queen Taye, and his father was Amenhotep III, and you look at their heads, also massive. So it's pretty interesting that this lineage had been established, and this is the lineage that was ruling over Egypt. These people with these super gigantic skulls with massive brains inside it. Pretty interesting stuff.
If a bone was broken and a person sat within the pyramid, the bone would begin to regenerate. Oh yeah. So when they go and cut you and slice you and turn you in half and all those other things, well, they don't tell you that your bones can regenerate sitting in pyramids. So anytime you're having focus issues, sitting in a pyramid can actually be very beneficial. It can also get rid of inflammation. It can get rid of headaches. It can get rid of pain. So pets can sit in pyramids. This was really cool. You also can preserve food with pyramids, if you didn't know. This was watering plants with pyramid water, and he knows that the pyramid water would make plants grow 3 times the size. Anytime a person would drink pyramid water, they would get cranked up. And I've started to realize that the pyramid shape is the same as the uranium energy. The pyramid, the actual shape of the pyramid, targets the energy in the center, which is just like uranium, so you get the ionization, and then that's what causes the boost in the growth. And then also the ability to preserve food. It slows everything down. It's funny because pyramids can slow everything down. They can preserve cheese, it can preserve milk, it can preserve meat, it can preserve fruit.
Just imagine if we had copper pyramid bed frames. Now that would be so legit.
Why aren't more people talking about this thing captured in a little town outside Chicago? Now, this video was captured in a wooded area right outside of Chicago. And you're probably like, oh, what is it? A tree stump? No, I don't know what this is. It was taken outside of a man's window. You can see the reflection of his kitchen light in this video. And I've zoomed in, stabilized, and tried to make it as stable as possible. He said whatever this thing is, it looked like it had a human face, just really fucked up, and the body of a big lizard. But I know one thing for sure, it's definitely not an animal that I can identify. Just look at its face in this photo. I took a couple still shots of it so you could see it. What the actual, what is this thing?
Whoa! Oh God, there's a baby. Let's go, guys!
So as you saw from the body cam footage, police are responding to the scene of an accident. The footage is from March 10th, 2015, but the accident had actually occurred the night prior. It was around 10:30 at night when the driver lost control and drove into a cement barrier. Her car went over this bridge and landed upside down in a freezing cold river where it stayed for 14 hours. But thankfully, a fisherman spotted the car the next morning and called 911. So when officers arrived at the scene, they couldn't see the car either because it was beneath this little bridge area, but they could hear a woman crying out for help. Officers described hearing the voice say things like, "Help me, we're in here." And that voice eventually led officers to the vehicle where they could see someone sitting in the driver's seat. 6 different officers in total reported hearing this woman's pleas for help, and that's what motivated them to reach the car as quickly as they could, because they believed that someone in this car might still be alive. One of the responding officers was later quoted saying, "It wasn't in our heads. To me, it was plain as day." When they got closer to the car, they found an 18-month-old baby suspended from her car seat, clinging to life as her mother lay dead in the front seat. The baby miraculously survived, but it was obvious that the mother had been gone for quite some time. So this story has left officers and anyone who hears it wondering, whose voice did they hear calling for help?
Nah, the fact that they heard a woman saying they are in there after she was already out of the car, yeah, that would mess me up forever, man. But yo, shout out to firefighters and EMS too. I got nothing but respect for y'all.
This case has never sat right with me. 17-year-old Mike Manshalt disappeared under mysterious circumstances after exploring the catacombs in Malta. He was found weeks later. All of his vital organs were gone, including his brain. Now, police originally said that he had suffered a fall and he broke a lot of his bones, and then the
rats entered his body and ate all his organs. When he was sent back to Germany, where he was from, they conducted an autopsy there and they found that he didn't have any broken bones. So the likelihood of him passing away from a fall, it was 0. A couple other suspicious things is that his backpack was missing, his phone, he wasn't wearing any shoes. And as for the missing brain, the police said that it dissolved because of the hot sun. But this case is sadly closed. His parents have so many answers still. People believe, though, that while he was exploring the catacombs, he was abducted. All of his organs were then taken out and sold on the black market. The police knew this, and maybe they're in on it and took a cut of the money. They then discarded his body somewhere else because he was not found in the catacomb, and they staged it to look like a fall.
She hid under the bed to prank her cat when something unsettling happened, because while she was home alone, she decided to hide and scare him when he walked into the room. But instead of acting playful like usual, the cat suddenly stopped and stared directly at the bed. Then it slowly started moving closer, almost like it knew she was hiding there. After she posted the video, people online started warning her it wasn't acting like a normal cat and that it might be a skinwalker. People are seriously disturbed by this man, and the reason is unsettling, because he's been slowly turning himself into what he calls an alien. It started with tattoos, but then he took it further. He removed parts of his face, his ears, even his tongue and fingers. He says it makes him feel more complete, but what scared people the most is that he claims he's not even halfway done, and the changes he still has planned are even more extreme.
Mental illness is no joke. If you need it, don't be afraid to seek help.
Well, this year's Dirty Dozen report is out, and it finds that produce like spinach, grapes, strawberries carry high levels of potentially harmful pesticides. The Environmental Working Group releases this report every year. Nectarines, peaches, cherries, apples, blackberries, pears, potatoes, and blueberries also made that list. Spinach took the top spot. The report says it holds more pesticide residue by weight than any other.
Out here eating a constant combo of microplastics, corn syrup, and bug killer. And the damn FDA's just over here like, our bad people.
You ever sit and think to yourself, what fucking timeline are we even in anymore with this shot right here coming out of the White House? We already know that the tech oligarchs are steering the ship. You don't have to put this big neon sign up at the White House and have it flashing. Even if you don't want to accept it, we have quietly accepted that tech companies have their hands on everything. The data, the platforms, the infrastructure. That wasn't the shocking part, because we know it's happening. The strange part about all of this is how it stopped being subtle. It used to be something that happened behind layers of glass and NDAs and offices that we didn't have any access to. But now we're at the point where it just looks like it's happening center stage with a spotlight, and we're supposed to just clap along while the curtain comes up. I already hear people in the comments when I bring up videos about Skynet and the tech oligarchs taking over, and it's just me being crazy. And that's fine, you can think about it that way, but we all joked about things like Skynet growing up. And you can have the opinions you want to have, and I can have the opinions I want to have, but this shit isn't going to go good. You know, it may not be T-1000s becoming self-aware with their AI, but it's going to be creepy dudes at Palantir finally just taking over everything. Well, they're already taking over everything, just making it more public.
That whole dramatic robot entrance was corny as can be. That robot looked like it was fighting for its life just to walk straight.
The Vatican secret archives have over 50 miles of shelving, and they really don't want you to know what kind of knowledge they're hiding on them. We're talking 35,000 volumes of catalogs and records spanning 12 centuries. That's around 180 terabytes worth of information. You could walk an entire day straight from dusk till dawn and still not pass every shelf. And here's the thing, up until 1881, this place was completely sealed. Only the Pope and his closest circle even knew what was inside. But then in 2019, they quietly changed the name from the Secret Archives to the Apostolic Archive, because apparently Secret Archives was sounding kind of suspicious. But that didn't exactly make people stop questioning what was really going on there. Even now, you can't just visit. You need academic credentials, a formal research proposal, and approval that can take months, and still it might get denied. And if you do manage to get access to the archive, you have to request documents by their exact name. You need to know precisely what you're asking for and looking for before you even ask. But there's no master list. There's no complete public catalog. Think about that for a second. They also have this rule where documents from the Pope are sealed until he's been dead for 75 years. So Pope Francis, who died last year, his files won't be available until the year 2100. So we don't even know what's down there.
He heard something in the sky, and he sees this. A man named Isaac and his family were home one night by a set of scenic view in Mexico when they began to hear what sounded like people screaming outside. As the family looks around, they notice it's coming from what looks like these balls of fire floating around El Cerro.
could simply be 3 drones, and that sound could just be wolves howling. That's the most logical explanation I could come up with.
I'm at South Park right now, at work, the building on fire, and I can't get out.
The 2 men seen in that video, DeMonte Tyree Sherrill and Ruben Lydell Holmes, died inside of that burning building. So this happened in 2023 in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's known now as the South Park Fire Incident. Basically, that day there was a building being built in downtown Charlotte, and at one point a fire broke out when an insulation foam sprayer caught fire on the ground floor of the building. So quickly, obviously, the fire department was called in, and a team of 90 firefighters showed up and rescued 15 workers from the burning building, including a crane worker who was rescued after being trapped. However, a staircase had been removed at some point during the construction, which left Sherrill and Holmes up top, unable to escape. And it's at this point when one of them began recording on Facebook Live, broadcasting what was happening out to their friends and family, but unfortunately, help was not coming and both of these men would perish. After this incident, state officials adopted new standards, their families obviously sued, and they discovered that health and safety standards were not up to par at the construction, the job site. But to me, it's shocking that stuff like this can happen and human error can lead to multiple people dying, and nobody is held really criminally liable for these 2 men's unfortunate deaths.
Corporate greed is always at the scene of the crime. Them boys should not have had to go out like that.